What's going on, everybody? EJ here. So welcome to another class. This class is going to be all about branding. Well, not all about branding, but about the how to pick your colors and the tones of your brand, for your logo, for your graphics, for your text, things like that. It's going to be a fairly quick class, hopefully, but we all know how I like to talk. But it's okay, because I just want to make sure that I'm thorough. So we're just going to go through a couple of things that you need to think about that maybe you haven't thought about when you are coming up with your logo, your graphic, your colors for your brand. This goes for if you are putting it together and designing it yourself. And it also goes for if you're having somebody else do it. Because these are things that you need to figure out so that you can tell, especially if somebody else is doing it, so that you can tell them exactly what you want. So let's get into it. So the first thing you want to make sure you think about is you want to decide where is this going to go. So again, it could be a logo that has a picture. It can be a picture and words. It could be just words. And so that's why you may hear me interchange logo and graphic, but I mean the same things. You need to think about where is it going to be, because you're going to have to make some decisions. If you want a really colorful logo with colorful graphics and words in it, and then let's say you pick a color like yellow or neon green, but then you may go like, oh wait, I want to put this on a shirt. You're going to have to be okay with the fact that neon green doesn't print neon green. Yellow may not print the yellow that you see on your computer when it finally gets on the t-shirt or the hat or keychain or what have you. And so you want to make sure you are aware of that fact so that you're not freaking out on the printers, because there are lots of colors that we can come up with online that will show up with different variances. But whether it's somebody you're getting, it embroidered or screen printed or whatever, the range of colors is not as infinite as if it was on a computer. And so again, if let's say you're getting something embroidered, you can dye yarn or whatever material they're using to embroider, but it may not necessarily match the same neon color that you have on your website. I have seen people get upset at the printers because of this, and like printers from screen printing to embroidering to stitching to, like, let's say they wanted to print flyers, the printers that are actually printing flyers. I've seen people get upset and blame it on the printers, but the truth is that it's not really the printer's fault. There are an infinite number of colors, period. But when you talk about printing and ink and yarn and all of those other type of things, there's still a wide range of colors, but it may not be the exact color that you pick, so just be aware of that. Normally, the deeper colors are normally fine. It's more when you get into the pastelish colors, the neon colors, the lighter colors, where you will probably start to see a little bit of a variance. Is it always going to be like this? Probably not, because technology is always advancing, but just so you are aware so that you don't like freak out on the printers when it's not really their fault. So that's the first thing. Think about where is this going to be, and just be okay in your head that it may look a little bit different, or maybe you just have an all black version that you're happy with, that's the version that you use when you print on your t-shirts or whatever, what have you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing you need to think about is the tone of your brand, of your logo, of your graphic, whatever it is. You know how when you're talking to somebody and you're like, I don't like your tone. It's like, it's that, I almost want to say unconscious communication, but it kind of isn't unconscious. But it's like the addition to whatever's actually being said. It's like the feelings that are attached to whatever being said. And yes, that does come into when you are talking about logos and text and all that type of stuff. I'm going to go over a couple of them. And so hopefully you kind of see where we're going. So the first one that I think is most easily communicated without using words is feminine or masculine. I know that everybody doesn't go into those categories necessarily as humans, but also as humans, there are certain things that we automatically assume are more feminine and other things that are more masculine. For instance, Take razors, for example. This is always the example I go to when I explain this. Think about razors. Go to Target, Walmart, your dollar store, wherever, and look at the razors. The ones that are marketed toward women are pink. They have flowers on them. They are, more light and airy blue. They're like a tealish green, like lighter colors. And then look at the ones that are marketed to men or masculine. They're usually silver, black, dark blue, very sharp edges. If you even just look at the lines, go look at them. The lines on like razors that are marketed to women are more like flowy and curves, and the ones that are marketed to men are more like harsh straight lines. Those speak feminine and masculine. So just take that into account. If your target audience is women, maybe you want to incorporate that into your graphic or your logo. Am I saying it's necessary? You have to do this. If you're marketing to men, you have to use straight lines? Absolutely not. But it's just something to think about while you are designing your graphic. Okay, the next tone you can think about is it playful or serious? Playful, think about how logos for daycares look. Think about how logos for amusement parks look. Think about how logos for like your local area kid attractions are. Like we have a lot of trampoline parks here in this city. They are really brightly colored. They usually have some form of kid something in there. It just pretty much reads playful. It reads kids, it reads for kids, things like that. So if you are, for instance, a lawyer who is looking for specifically older clients, you probably wouldn't use like a cartoonish logo. You know what I'm saying? Because a lawyer is more like a profession that people take seriously, and if you have a logo that looks like a daycare gavel, even though I know gavels are for judges, but just roll with me. You know what I mean? Like if it looks playful, you might not get the people that you want to get. And then let's keep taking that lawyer, for example. For serious is more, think about like corporations, their flyers, their logos, their branding, things like that. A lot of them use like deep dark blues. A lot of them use, again, straight lines. And I know we talked about that being masculine, but again, that's kind of our society. If you look at like the top level executives, a lot of companies, they're male, but I digress. But more serious has more rigid. The other way you can convey serious or playful is through your font. So for instance, Comic Sans, I highly suggest nobody ever use Comic Sans in their logo or the graphics, but I'm just saying it because most people know what I mean when I say that. So Comic Sans would be a playful font. Times New Roman would be a more serious font. Are there more fonts than those two? Absolutely. If you don't know where to go, one of my favorite websites to go to explore fonts is 1001 Fonts. It's literally 1001 fonts with an s.com. And they have fonts that are free for personal and commercial use available. If you are looking for a font that you're going to use on your logos, on your website, on items that you're going to sell and make money from, just make sure you click the filter button that allows you to search for commercial fonts, just to make sure you're all free and clear. But there's so many fonts out there, so I would suggest looking on that website if you are not familiar with fonts, because there are a lot of people that are out there that are talented in creating fonts. So take a look at that. Okay, the next tone I'm going to talk about, and again, there are so many different tones. I'm only going to talk about a couple so that hopefully you get the drift. But the next one is luxury versus affordable. So let's say you're selling boats and let's say you're selling kayaks and you want like the everyday person who just likes to be have adventures and go out to nature and things like that. You're probably not going to use a 20-foot yacht as the graphic of your logo, because you're not trying to rent 20-foot yachts. You're trying to rent kayaks. So you would pick an image that shows more of an affordable, more like what's closest to what you're actually selling. Am I saying that your clients couldn't afford a 20-foot yacht just because they're coming to you for a kayak? No. But if you're looking for people who want that kayak experience, who want that affordable experience, and not saying kayaks are like $2, but they're cheaper than 20-foot yachts. But if you're looking for that specific type of person, you don't want to turn them away, because you can if you're communicating the wrong things. Just like if you want to be a person that sells all the billionaires their 20-foot yachts, you probably would not use, if you're using a graphic, you probably would not use a simple boat or boat shape in your graphic. Because if you specifically want to sell billionaires 20-foot yachts, that is over the top, that's luxurious, that's all of those things. And people that are falling in that category are not going to necessarily come to you if they don't know anything else about you and this is their first introduction. They're probably not going to come to you if they see a simple boat on as your logo and that's not what they're looking for. So just be aware of that too. The last one we talk about is like youthful versus mature or more grown up. Let's say you are a drink manufacturer. I don't know, pick a drink. Yeah, I don't know, pick a drink. If you are somebody that's making a kid's drink, you probably would not use a martini glass as part of your graphic for your company. Does that make sense? And just like if you are making drinks that are alcohol based, you probably wouldn't use a Sunny D container as your graphic. You see what I mean? You see how that could off-put people and like confuse people? You can't, I mean, I hate to be so hard and fast, but really it's like if you are selling kids drinks, if you're selling, I don't know, juice pouches, and you are introducing yourselves to, let's say, the PTA out of school, but you come in there and your logo is a martini glass, they might look at you crazy. They'd be like, are these really kid drinks? Or are you just trying to get our kids drunk on the side? Like, so you have, just be aware. Just be aware. So those are just some examples on picking the tone of your graphics and even your fonts. Again, like I was talking about the playful and the serious. If you want to be playful, if you're just doing a font one, if you want to be playful, pick a more playful one. If you want to be a serious, pick a more serious one. Of course, those definitions, you totally make the definitions for those because it's your company, it's your logo, it's your graphic, it's your font. But you also have to be aware of how other people are going to perceive that, because you need other people as customers. So just be aware. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about is colors. Now, I'm only going to pick a couple colors to talk about to give examples, but like I said before, there's an infinite amount of colors. So many. There's so many colors. But I'm just going to give you just some kind of psychological, or what some research has said, brings some feelings, either consciously or unconsciously, that people feel when they see certain colors. First, I will say that when I'm working with customers or clients of mine, I say you need to pick at least three. A main color, a secondary color, and an accent color. This gives you some wiggle room, like when you're designing social media posts or designing your website. If you just pick one color, let's say the color you pick is blue, even though blue can signify like corporate or calming, if it's just blue, it gets boring. So it gives you some variety. So at the least, this part is my opinion, at the least I say at least 3 colors, at the most I say at least 5. Because then the other thing is that you don't want to throw people into a tizzy, because now you have all psychedelic-y type vibes going on, and some people cannot handle that. So my personal opinion that I use for myself and my clients is 3 to 5 colors. But again, do what you want to do. Just keep in mind that some people get easily overwhelmed by colors. Some people are turned off when there's too many colors. So I think between 3 and 5 is a good start. So let's talk about the actual feelings of some colors. Okay, first three we're going to talk about is red, yellow, and green. Why? Because they're the stoplight colors. Most people are aware of them, even kids who are in a car who have no clue about driving the actual car know what red, yellow, and green mean. So red, yellow, and green, if you use them, yes, they can mean other things, but you have to understand that because most people have been exposed to a stoplight, that is going to be a feeling that they feel. So we know that red means stop, yellow means slow down, caution, and green means go. So you just have to be aware of that. It just is. Red is also a tricky color because that can also mean alert or emergency. Like fire trucks are red. Ambulances have a lot of red in them. Things like that. When there's weather warnings, I don't know how it is in y'all city, wherever yours is, but in the city where I am, if we're watching TV and it's scrolling along the bottom, like when there's a tornado coming, because I live in Tornado Valley, it's in red. On my weather app on my phone, if there's a weather, if it's about to flood, it's in red. So red can mean alert and other things. So red is a color that I tend to shy away from because it is connected to so many feelings that bring about like hesitation or caution or alertness or like on guard all the time. I don't want people to feel like that when they're coming to me. So personally, I shy away from red. If I have had a client who they really wanted red, and so we ended up just using it as an accent color, but it was not a main color. Can you imagine going to a website and their main color being red, like the background is red? You just see red, but like it makes your eyes tired too. So that's why it's good to be aware of where wherever your logo or your graphic or your text is going to be. But red is a color I shy away from for those reasons. Like it means stop, it means alert, things like that. And also because it makes your eyes tired if you look at it for too long of a time. Yellow, like I know with the stoplight, it does mean slow down, but yellow also means happiness. Yellow means happiness, it means sunshine, it means warmth. So yellow, I like yellow. Probably not as a main color, and again, this part is my opinion. But again, probably not the main color because that's another color that if you look at yellow too long, it makes your eyes tired. So it's a good secondary color and it's a good accent color. My personal colors for my studio are black, white, and yellow. And yellow is the accent color and it looks good. But that's also because I have white and black, which are like complementary, easy to look at generally colors. And then I have like just a spark or something, and that something is yellow. So even though a stoplight may say yellow is caution or slow down, it also means warm. Summer is coming, sunshine, all that different type of thing. So that's generally what yellow means or the feeling from yellow. Green means go as far as stoplights mean. It also can mean nature. It can also mean prosperity because money is green. I guess that works though because green means go, green means money, go get money, whatever. I guess that works. But I'm just sharing the things that I have seen from research from what different colors make people feel. So those are the first three. We already kind of covered pink when I was talking about the tone before, where I was saying that pink just says femininity. Whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you like it, it just does. It just does. So that's just a freebie because I talked about it before. But I just want to reiterate, it is what it is. White is a color that means like clean slate or just clean, free of germs, virtuous, things like that. White is a good, in my opinion, actually it could be in the three categories that I said. It could be a main color, it can be a secondary color, it can be an accent color. When I am designing websites, a lot of the times I make the text white if the background is a color because it just makes it easier on your eyes. White is also a color that you can pretty much guarantee can be printed, like, period. Um, I haven't met a printer yet, and printer meaning like printing on paper for flyers or printing on hats or shirts or whatever, whether it's embroidery or screen printing. I haven't met a printer yet that couldn't print white. So it means safe also to me. Purple. Purple means, how many colors is this? 3, 4, 5. This 5? Yeah, this is fifth color. Purple can mean royalty. I know that there are some royal positions that have purple. There are actually some religious organizations that tie purple into what your title is. So if you are a business that is catering to a specific religion, I would look into that actually pretty seriously, especially for religion. And that can be any religion, but most religions have certain colors or certain attributes that signify a certain title or level. And I know that there are a couple of religions that equal purple to like being a bishop. That's the way it is in some Pentecostal denominations. If you are purple, you're a bishop. Don't ask what the other ones are. I just have some bishops that are clients, so I know that off the top of my head. So don't ask me what the other ones are. But purple means royalty, status. It can also mean creativity, and it can also just be a fun color. I personally love purple because it can be used in so many different combinations. But again, just research what your target market is and make sure you're aware of like those certain things. Like there are certain colors in certain religions that mean certain things. So just be aware. The last color I'm going to talk about is brown. Brown kind of means rugged, or it can mean earthy. It can mean easygoing, down to earth, because dirt is brown. So that's where that comes from. If you look at like wedding, reception, or even ceremony event places that cater to more like the rustic farmhouse type feels for weddings, you'll see a lot of their colors are brown, white, tan, like those earthy colors. And brown goes into that. So I would just take whatever colors you're interested in and Google it. Be like, hey, what does the color neon orange mean? And just see. It's just good to be aware. Is this something that you want to use as like a ride or die, like chopping block or not? Maybe not, depending on what you're going for. But I still think it's good to be aware. The other thing that you may be wondering, like, hey, I know you said between 3 and 5 colors, and I know I want to use brown, but I don't know what else to use. You can go to a website called colorlovers.com, and it's COLOURLOVERS.com. Hopefully I spelled that right. If not, it'll be on the screen. And Color Lovers is a site where you can either be a member or not. It's free either way. And you can make and look up palettes that other people have put together. So when you get to Color Lovers, you can put in a search bar brown. And what will happen is it will bring up all the palettes that people have made that include brown in them. The palettes include between, I think the lowest number I've seen was 3, and I've seen up to like 9 colors that people put together like, hey, I think these work together. And so what you can do is you can go through and look and see which ones you like, which colors catch your eye, and things like that. Why is this important? It's important because sometimes you're just stuck. Sometimes you just want something new. And like I said, there is an infinite amount of colors out there. And maybe you just didn't know like a shade of a certain color really existed, but it did. And so you can use Color Lovers to help you pick colors. So you can pick one color from this palette, another color from that palette, and so on and so forth. But the thing that you need to make sure that you do, and it's important whether you are designing it yourself or you're talking to a designer, is that you need to write down the color number and the RGB number for each one that you find on Color Lovers. There's other color sites out there, but Color Lovers is the one that I use. So whatever color site you're looking at, you need to make sure you write the color number and the RGB number. You'll be like, what is that? So what it is if you go to Color Lovers and then click on a palette and you look at, the colors that they have available. They're going to have a name of the color. You need to ignore that. The person making the palette can name the color anything that they want. So you may see, let's take the color cobalt blue. That is an actual color. But let's say you see one color in Color Lovers that somebody calls cobalt blue, but then you talk to your designer and say, hey, I want cobalt blue. That may mean something totally different. And then you're getting your proofs back and you're like, this is not the color that I said. But so just ignore the name. Just ignore the name. But once you see the name, what you will also see are the RGB and the color number. The color number has a pound sign or a hashtag, whichever way you identify with it. It has a hashtag and then a series of either numbers and letters, just numbers. I don't think there's any that are just letters. So I think it's just numbers or, oh no, there are some that are just letters because white is just letters, and then there's letters and numbers. And then there's RGB. It's literally capital R, capital G, capital B. It stands for red, green, blue. That is one of the color profiles of how, like, your computers, my computer's over here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's why I keep pointing over here because my computer's over here. But the colors you see on a computer, they are made up of different amounts of red, green, and blue as far as that picture profile goes. And so what you'll see is you'll see R, a colon, and a number. You'll see G, a colon, and a number. You'll see B, a colon, and a number. My suggestion would be to write down the color number and the RGB numbers. I would write down both. It's just safer to have both. They both mean the same thing. You're gonna get the same color, but whether you're working with a designer, a design program, or you're trying to do it yourself in like Photoshop, Photoshop has a space for both the color number and the RGB number, but there might be a design program out there that only uses RGB. So if you only wrote down the color number, then you're gonna have to go back and figure it out. Just save yourself some time, just write both of them down. And then, like I said, that will make sure that if you are designing it yourself, you get the same color that you saw. If you're working with a designer, they know exactly what color you saw. If you're working with a design program, you get the same color that you saw. It just makes sure that you have this right color. Because like I said, there's infinite amount of colors. You could pick color number, hashtag A2FGB4, and A2FGB5 is a different color than AGB2F4 or whatever I said. So it just ensures that you have the color that you want. So I would suggest using Color Lovers. I think it's the easiest color palette picking program that I have found. I know there's others out there, but I use Colors. And it's free. And if you sign up for an account, and this is not sponsored and I'm not an affiliate, but if you sign up, it is free, and then you can save different palettes, which will help you if you lose your paper or lose the note in your phone that you wrote down the numbers of the colors for, whatever. But it's free, so it wouldn't hurt to make an account and just save the colors or the palettes that you like. So yeah, do that. So that is it. I hope this helped. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I think that this is stuff that everybody needs to understand, because this all goes into building your target market, which we will talk about in another class. But maybe you're not reaching the people that you want to reach because you're unconsciously putting things out into the atmosphere that you may not want. So it's just good to be aware. But like I said, that is it. Thank you for joining me in this class, and I hope to see you at the next class. And yeah, I'll see y'all later.